All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Here's the thing. Well, this is not directed towards children. The thing that we got here is, let's look at what's going on here. We're having these daily meetings. This one was a little bit, this is actually from yesterday. So this is the April 5th, 2020 Coronavirus Task Force speech. This was held at approximately 7 p.m. President goes over a number of things, keeps saying that we need to reopen the economy. Then again, he is also acting somewhat as a cheerleader in chief right now. I tend to think, in my opinion, this will likely go on for a while. Right now, we're essentially through the beginning of May. We might get booted out a little more. It really depends on the area. If you look at the states that really haven't done a complete shutdown right now, what are we seeing? Well, we're seeing it's usually in areas where you don't have a lot of dense population. Again, every situation is different. You look up to, was it Washington? I think they're actually starting to return some ventilators. Or maybe it was in Oregon. And that was an area of primary concern. That's where it really started to get hit hard in the greater Seattle area. That's where my stepbrother was going back to, like right as this was all going down. It's like, well, what's happening? Okay, and you can see the response definitely makes a difference. So I'll let you get into the president. He goes for about 20 minutes, and then he has Dr. Birx come up with some charts.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody. All these people have been working very, very hard today, I'll tell you. For a long time they've been working. But before I begin, I want to express our nation's well wishes to Prime Minister Boris Johnson as he wages his own personal fight with the virus.
Prime
All
Minister
Americans
Johnson
are praying for him. He's a friend of
went
mine.
to
He's
the
a great
hospital
gentleman and
the other day.
a great leader. And he's, as you know, he was brought to the hospital today. But I'm hopeful and sure that he's going to be fine. He's a strong man, strong person. Today, every patriotic American heart beats in solidarity with the incredible people of New York and New Jersey. They've really become a very hot zone, but some very good things are happening. In New York, the first time where
They put a
the
curfew
deaths
in
were
New
less
Jersey.
from the previous
believe
day.
it was
That's the first
highly
time so far.
recommended.
So maybe that's a good sign. It could be.
Potentially
And,
mandatory.
The hospital levels are starting to perhaps decrease. It's been very short, but perhaps decrease. So we wish Governor Cuomo and all of the people in New York great, and New Jersey.
The
your
curve will
governor's
go
doing a
down,
great
but
job.
just we
He's
don't
doing
know.
a great job in New Jersey. They got hit very hard. I just want to say
Flu,
that
you
the
normally
full
see
power
symptoms
of
in just a couple
the
of days.
American
This,
government and American
that
enterprise.
2-week period,
It
you
really
don't
is. This
know.
is an all-out military operation that we've waged, and especially over the last number of weeks. 50 states and territories have now been approved for major disaster declarations, which is very unusual. Thanks to the Army Corps of Engineers, New York City's Javits Center is now one of the largest hospitals in the United States. It's designated for treatment of the virus, patients, and staffed by hundreds of federal medical personnel deployed from 2 Army hospital units, and they're doing a great job. This was something that we didn't expect to do, but they needed help in New York, and we
Talking
sent
about
federal
full logistics.
troops, not only troops,
and
we also sent a lot
resources,
of very talented
personnel.
doctors, nurses, first responders. People are
You need
now
the facilities, you need the
running
beds, you need the
Javits.
equipment,
also,
and you need the
as you know,
people.
the USNS Comfort, which is in New
And the
York,
people
there's been
need
a
their
lot of
armor. They
publicity
need that
about coming
PPE.
in, and all that was not supposed to be for the virus at all under any circumstances.
You're gonna ask
But
somebody
it
to do a
looks like more
difficult
and more we're
job.
going to be using it for that.
They
so
need
we'll
the
see.
equipment.
That was supposed to be for people
They need the right
having
gear.
other medical problems. But it's very interesting because there are virtually no cars on the road, no motorcycles on the road, no
This is another
anything on the
factor.
road.
It seems like
Things that would normally be taken care of, we don't see anymore.
we're not seeing
So we
as
haven't
many
seen that in a long
accidents.
time.
You don't have as many people
So
out, so
perhaps a
hopefully
positive.
that's alleviating some
But
of
the
the
ship is
hospital
ready,
pressure.
and
I mean,
it
that's what
has
we
to,
want
if we
right
need it.
now.
If we need it for the virus, we will be using it for that. They'd prefer not, for obvious reasons.
As more
but if for
folks
any
get
reason
it,
they
as
need
people
it,
develop
it's
immunity,
ready.
as we have
willing
more
and able.
treatments and a
We
potential
have the best doctors,
vaccine,
the best military leaders, and the best
keep that manageable.
logistics professionals anywhere in the world, and we're orchestrating a massive federal response unlike anything our country has ever seen or done. We've never done anything like this. and more we're using our medical people because of the fact that jurisdiction states, in particular,
Things like this to put things in
New York,
perspective.
New Jersey, the Connecticut area, Long Island now has become a hotspot, part of New York. We're sending a lot of things, a lot of supplies, and now we're sending personnel where it's needed, military personnel. As of Tuesday, we'll have deployed over 3,000 military and public health professionals to New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and other parts of our country. 3,000, and that number's going up. And
Using the
we
military
hope we're
to help
seeing a leveling
enhance
off
our
in
healthcare
the
response.
hottest spots of them all. So we'll see. You'll be seeing that over the next few days. Let's see what happens. But we're prepared. In the last 7 days, FEMA has airlifted critical supplies and protective equipment
Right.
from every corner of Earth. They're coming from all over the planet,
Right.
including from within the United States where the equipment isn't as necessary. Since
I
last
have
Sunday,
also heard
cargo
reports
planes have
that
delivered almost,
maybe under the
listen to this,
DPA and
300
certain
million
things,
gloves,
we may have taken other people's
almost 8
supplies as
million
well. 'Cause
masks,
we've heard that
and
from
3
other
million
countries and
gowns,
stuff. So
and many more
I'm not sure
fully
the
loaded
resolution.
cargo planes are right now on the way. 3 big ones landed today.
we could
And
work
these
together.
supplies are being distributed directly to the hospitals and
What's most
healthcare
critical
providers
where?
all across the
Who needs
nation.
this?
So
Who needs that? It's logistics.
that massive amount of material that we're getting in
We need to be
is being
honest with
delivered
each
all
other.
over the country. Tomorrow we'll deliver an additional 600,000 N95 masks to New York City to take care of the needs of the public hospital system. It was a request of Mayor de Blasio. We've been working great with Mayor de Blasio, getting him a lot of stuff. He's working very hard, I can tell you that. And we're working really very hard with New York City and with New York State. And at the request of Congressman Lee Zeldin out in Long Island, we will also be delivering another 200,000 N95 masks to Suffolk County, where they need it very badly. So we're getting that out on an emergency basis. Should be there tomorrow. We'll also be deploying millions of N95 masks to other locations that Admiral Polovchak will detail shortly. The Admiral will be up in just a couple of minutes. Over the last 24 hours, FEMA has delivered an additional 500 ventilators to New Jersey, 500. And again, the governor has been very thankful. We're working very hard with New Jersey, including building hospitals. We've also sent an additional 200 ventilators to Louisiana, definite hotspot, 300 to Michigan, working very well, I think, with the governor. Amazingly, 600 will be going or have gone to Illinois. And I mean, there's a governor, I hear him complaining all the time. Pritzker, I hear him, he's always complaining, and yet I just said, give me a list of a couple of the things we've done in Illinois. And we're building a 2,500 bed hospital in McCormick Place. That's the big convention
I
center in
prefer to
Chicago.
have nice words with one another. Some people
We're
disagree with
helping to
that.
staff it, and probably
Again,
will end up staffing it because he's not
here's the
able to
thing.
do what you're
I think this
supposed
is
to
why
be
you
able to
have
do
a
as a governor.
Federal
not
Emergency
performed
Management
well.
Agency,
And we're also sending 100
Homeland Security.
ventilators to
It
Massachusetts.
seems like a lot of things. Yeah.
So we have 600 to Illinois, we have 100 to
believe we're
Massachusetts,
receiving
we have 300 to
100
Michigan,
federally.
we have 200 to Louisiana, we have
We
500
we also have
ventilators, 500
the
going to
PATs.
New Jersey.
fly in a whole
And
bunch
this is
of
being done
PPE.
by FEMA, being delivered by FEMA, and it's
We all know that meme's going
some
around.
job. Just think of that when you think about 500
We'll
ventilators.
do it ourselves.
A ventilator is a big deal.
Not every
We're
state is
also
Massachusetts,
establishing
though.
a federal medical station
got a lot
in
of
the Washington,
hospitals,
D.C. area to
universities.
help Washington, D.C.
Got a lot of students.
and
We're
working
issuing
very
90-day
closely
temp
with the mayor and
licenses to
everybody
recent
in
med student grads that
Washington,
qualify.
D.C. At the
Governor
same
Baker, I think,
time,
has done a
Governor
pretty
Inslee,
solid
we
job.
appreciate this, of Washington State has returned
A
400
lot of what the states
ventilators,
wait on
which
is
can now be
what's going to
deployed
happen
elsewhere in our
federally.
country. So the state of Washington's done very well. They won't be needing some of the ventilators that have been sent, about 400, that's a lot. And we appreciate that he's able to give them back. He feels confident that they are in good shape for the coming weeks until we can declare a final victory. In the days
Thanks.
ahead,
Supply
America
chain
will endure
management.
the peak of this terrible pandemic. Our warriors in this life and death battle are the incredible doctors and nurses and healthcare workers on the front line of the fight. We pledge to them our eternal gratitude and everlasting support.
Right.
They make all of us very proud.
Are those federal
Our
supplies
country is
getting where
very
they need to be,
proud.
Mr. President?
We have
See, that's
people-
what we need to know.
They love our
We're
country.
seeing these videos. We're
The
seeing
world
people
loves
literally
our
quit
country,
because they
most
don't
of
have
it.
masks, or they have their own masks, but they're
Probably
not
all
allowed
of
to
it,
wear
they just
it.
don't say it. I can report today that the United States has now tested and gotten results of 1.67 million people. That's far more than any other country has been able to do.
We have ramped up
And
testing.
you remember we inherited a broken system, so a lot of this has been developed. By Tuesday, 1,200 brand new rapid point of care testing kits has been produced by Abbott Laboratories, great company.
At
They'll
the
be
same
distributed
time,
to all
this
of our
has been
public
something
health
that I
labs.
think
That's a 15-minute
Bill
test,
Gates
even
has been
less.
talking about for a while.
As
A
well
lot of
as
really
the
smart
Indian
people have
Health
been warning
Service,
about this.
the CDC, and
Okay,
the
you inherited
Strategic
something
National
broken.
Stockpile. So we're going to have
That raises
1,200, and on a
questions.
weekly basis, we're making a lot more. They go very fast. They're
So
very
you
accurate
realize it once we were in the
and other
pandemic.
countries are wanting them, so at the right time
Raises
we'll be able to
questions.
do that. But right now we're getting them to all of ours. So we've done
Maybe we just reprioritize. Maybe it's limited resources. Maybe
1,670,000.
we're just busy yelling at each
Yes,
other.
look at that.
rather than focusing on
1,670,000
worst
tests.
potential scenarios.
And, we have a great system now. We're working with the states in almost all instances, but we have a great system. And the other thing that we've bought a tremendous amount of
And we have a
is
broken
the
system.
hydroxychloroquine, which I think, as you know, it's a great
Again,
malaria drug. It's worked unbelievably. It's a powerful drug.
you start
malaria.
off, I am not a
And there are
doctor.
signs that
The
it works on
president
this,
is
some very strong
not a
signs.
doctor. This is where you're
And
getting
in
the
meantime, it's been
criticism,
around a
Mr.
long
President.
time. It also works very
I believe
powerfully
you
on
mean
lupus.
well.
Lupus.
And hopefully this really
So,
works,
there are
but
some very
just
strong, powerful signs, and we'll have to see.
if
because,
you
again,
say,
it's
I am
being
not a
tested now.
doctor,
This is a new
I
thing
have
that
hope
just
that
happened
this
to
is
us, the
promising.
invisible enemy, we
I'll let
call
the
it.
doctors explain. Then let the
And
doctors
If
explain.
if you have a
It doesn't need to be, you don't need to
no
make the
signs
pitch
of heart
yourself.
problems,
This is why you have your
azithromycin.
experts.
Azithromycin.
People are hearing this, and now
which
people
will
are going to go
kill,
after you, man.
Certain
I
things
know
that
you
don't
mean well,
want
but
living
you are not the
within your
doctor. It needs to
body.
be high
It's a powerful
prescription.
drug. If you
Let the
don't have
doctors
a problem,
explain it.
A heart problem. We
Look at any
would
medical
say,
commercial for
let your
anything.
doctor
You
think
have
about
this
it.
may help you get
But
you
as
to
a
sleep.
combination,
Yes.
I think they're going to be.
And then all these side
I think
effects
there's
may
two
occur. It
things
goes
that
on
should
for
be
half
looked
the
at very strongly.
commercial.
Now, we have
I think that's the main complaint.
purchased and we have stockpiled 29 million pills
Just say
of the
we have hopes of
hydroxy-
this. We have 29 million
chloroquine.
doses
29
just
million.
in case.
A lot
We'll
of
leave this to the
drugstores have them
physicians.
by
Boom,
prescription.
done,
And also,
done. You don't need more than
not
10 seconds.
expensive.
You've been going on for 2 minutes on
We're
this.
sending them to various labs, our military. We're sending them to the hospitals. We're sending them all over. I just think it's something, the expression, I've used it for certain reasons. What do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? And a lot of people are saying that
hearing,
when,
I don't know.
and are taking
It's
if you're
hopefully
a
this works.
doctor, a nurse,
in my
a
mind.
first responder, a medical
If it works for
person going
malaria,
into
what's
hospitals,
malaria? Malaria is a
They
parasite.
say taking it before
Feeds upon
the
a
fact
host. What's a virus?
is good.
Feeds upon
What do you have to
the host on a
lose?
cellular
They say
level.
take it. I'm
If you're
not
going to treat that, it's like
looking at it
it
one
stands
way
to
or the other,
reason.
but we want
I
to
could
get
see
out
it
of this.
working.
If it does work,
If it does,
would be
great.
a shame if we didn't
I'm
do
not
it
a doctor.
early. But we have some very good signs. So that's hydroxychloroquine and azithromycin.
It
Again, you
sounds
have to
like
go
you're
through, your medical people, get the approval.
okay. Thank you.
But I've seen things that I sort of like. So what do I know? I'm not a doctor.
Thank
I'm
you.
not a doctor, but I have
Thank
common
you.
sense.
Thank
The
you.
FDA feels good about it. As you know, they've approved it. They gave it a rapid approval.
We have hopes for this.
And the
29 million
because
doses
it's been out there for
secured.
a long time.
What do I know? I
and
am
they
not
know
a
the side
doctor.
effects, and
Work
they
with
also
your
know the
doctor.
potential. So
15
based
seconds.
on that,
Boom.
we have sent it.
You
throughout
don't
the
give
country. We
people
have
the
it
chance to
stockpiled.
say, "Oh, you're
about
promoting this. You're promoting this." You're stating
29 million doses. 29 million doses. We have a lot of it. We hope it works. Driven by the goal of the brightest minds in science. We have
The
the
same
brightest
thing,
minds
too.
in science, but
If it is
we're driven by the
promising,
goal of getting rid of this
some governors
plague, getting rid
were
of
trying to
this
ban it,
scourge, getting rid
and
of
then
this
they quickly
virus.
changed their minds.
These
gotta
brilliant
be
minds
fair.
are working on the most effective antiviral therapies and vaccines. We are working very, very hard. I have met many of the doctors that are doing it. These are doctors that are working so hard on vanquishing the virus.
Oh, vanquishing.
We strongly recommend staying
That's
at
a power
home,
word.
practicing vigorous hygiene and maintaining
battling a
social
dragon.
distance so you're
I like dragons.
just not going to catch it. It's the most effective weapon
Right.
in this war. And I will tell you, we are committing to the
I am surprised they are
we're committing to
using the
people of our country like
comfort for actual
few
treatment of folks
administrations,
with the
few
virus.
people,
I'm just,
few professionals have ever committed before.
I think they have the
they are
proper
working so hard.
filtration
I
and
see
stuff.
them. I
I
see them
realize, but it's just, this
before
is
my
so
eyes,
contagious, and I
exhausted.
just,
People that I'm dealing with
I
every
worry
day,
about it.
exhausted. They haven't left
so much we don't know.
their offices. They haven't left their hospitals.
best.
We meet with them. We see them. And tremendous strides have been made. I think the vaccines, we'll have a report on that, but the vaccines, working together with other countries. We're also working with other countries, many other countries.
This is a mass scale investment, because what
And we
they've
all
basically
want
done is they have a number of
everyone
companies
else to be
competing,
first. We're
trying
very
to
happy,
make a
but we are
vaccine,
very
and they've literally
far
said,
down the line
we
on
want you to develop
vaccines. We'll
this,
see
and
how
if it
that
looks
all
like it's
works.
going to work,
Johnson & Johnson's
mass start producing it, so we'll start to
doing a
have
great job,
stockpiles and
working
have
very
it ahead of
hard.
time. It's like, if the
vaccine
federal
would be
government is
great
willing to
therapy,
say,
a therapy,
we will pay you for this just
therapeutics
to
would be
stockpile this,
great.
it's
We'll see
like,
what happens.
you're throwing a lot of
In
money
the
at it.
meantime, you may listen to what I
You
said
do a
about
lot
the
of
two
things with a lot of money.
drugs mentioned. My administration
That's
is
all I know.
rapidly implementing
like
the largest
go
emergency
to the moon
economic relief
and
package
back.
in American history. You've seen what's been happening. Billions of dollars in small business loans have already been processed through Paycheck Protection Program. So we went out on Friday, and literally it's become so popular. It's been worked with the banks. They get it to the small business. It's all about
Do we
employment.
need
It's
like
all about
900,
jobs.
1400
Want you to keep your
pages though?
jobs. Give small
Can we
business
do
funding
something
to
that's
keep
maybe,
the workers on
I
the
don't know,
payroll.
a tenth
And we're
that?
sending direct cash payments to millions of
So
Americans
like
and rushing
your average
aid
Sally
to
Dicker
the
Joe could at least look
hardest
it
hit
over.
industries. We're saving
Still gonna be
industries.
legalese, but
we will be. You'll be seeing it. And if we do more, we're gonna do more, and we're gonna try and get
maybe it's not an issue with the
directly
bills.
to people
Maybe it's an issue with the
that are hit so
system
hard. But we're gonna take
that
care of our workers.
requires
we're gonna
such
take care of our
complex
citizens, We're
legislation.
gonna take care of our small businesses.
Just
We're
something
going
to
to take
think
care of our
about.
large businesses, the airplane industry, the airline
national
industry.
security.
A lot of great industries that we have that are in trouble because of what took place over the last
Quickly able to move
short
people
period of
around.
time.
That's why we had
These
the
are
federal
industries
federal
that were doing
highways.
better, for the most part, doing better than ever. The airlines were doing great. Oil was doing great, oil and gas, and the energy industry.
Oh, we
was
had
doing
like record low
phenomenally
unemployment. We
well.
were
Got
like
hit
3%
like Nobody's
unemployment.
ever been hit before.
That was amazing.
Just about like no industry's ever been.
and then we
hit
shut it
before.
all
There's
down.
never been anything like this. But we see
I think it was Andrew Yang
light
said,
at the end
I
of
can
the
only
tunnel.
imagine what it's like to be
Things
looking
are
for a
happening.
job right now.
things are happening. We're starting to see light at the end of the
That
tunnel.
resonates with some.
And hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll be very proud of the job we all did. Can never be happy when so many people are dying, but we're going to be very proud of the job we did to keep the death down to an absolute minimum, the least it could have happened
That
with this
that is a huge thing.
terrible virus. In
If you're
closing,
going
I
off
also want to note today is Palm
standard
Sunday and
rates
the beginning of
Out
Holy Week
of
for Christians
Greater
in
Wuhan
America
province,
and all around the world.
we were looking at right
While
around
we may be
3.5%.
apart from one another,
100
as you
million
can see
folks
from
here
our
get it.
great churches, our great pastors and ministers are
Is the thing.
out there working very hard, but
It's a
we may be
tragedy.
apart.
We're living
We
in
can use
history.
this time to turn to reflection and
We all
prayer
make
and
mistakes.
our own
How we
personal
respond is
relationship with
what
God.
defines us.
I would ask that all Americans pray for the heroic doctors and nurses, for the truck drivers and grocery store workers, and for everyone fighting this battle. I had mentioned yesterday where I see the nurses rushing into hospitals, and they're putting on their outfits and they're putting on their masks and goggles in some cases. They're rushing into war. They're rushing into war. And I see people from apartment houses screaming and shouting and singing their praises.
I think
It's
there
an
was a police
incredible
or
thing.
fire
They're
department. They were
warriors.
literally outside just
These doctors and nurses, they're running into
blaring and
buildings
cheering.
and they're literally putting it on as the doors are opening.
Saving
They're putting all this
lives.
stuff and running inside. And they're running inside to tremendous danger. Tremendous danger. But most of all, I'd like to ask for your prayers for the families who have lost loved ones. Ask God to comfort them in their hour of grief. It's a great hour of grief for our nation, for the world. This morning, I was talking 151. For 4 days, I said 151. 151 countries this morning. It's 182 countries. It jumped up a lot. So as of this morning, it's 182 countries are under attack from this monster. With the faith of our families and the spirit of our people and the grace of our God, we will endure, we will overcome, we will prevail. We have learned so much. We will be stronger than ever. And I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank the incredible professionals on the task force also. We had a big meeting today. We were calls all day long to so many different people. And I think our package to get everyone working when we're ready is really turning out to be successful. We may have to make it larger because it's been really successful. But all of that comes back to this country. We want to get them back. We want to get our people back to work. Everybody wants to be back. We want to open up our country as soon as possible. So with that, I'm going to ask Dr. Birx to say a few words, and she's got some charts to show you. And thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, we'll let Dr. Birx go up. In
Thank
about a
you,
minute.
Mr. President. As you can see from the hopeful signs in Italy and Spain, where we see finally new cases and deaths
Starting
declining,
to-
it's giving us hope of what our future could be. We wanted to give you an update on where all of the states were. We're looking at this as states normalized per 100,000 citizens. It looks very similar to last week. We wanted to update you. We've been covering throughout the week
That's
the
certain
states
spikes.
that were moving on this map. You can see very clearly where New York is as a state, although this is very much still centered in the New York metro area. New Jersey is the orange line. The green line is Louisiana. That's followed by Massachusetts, and then Connecticut and
We had the
Michigan
Biogen
are
conference
together
earlier
in those
on.
lines
Just
towards the
extremely
bottom.
poor
And then, of
timing.
course,
About 108 cases right out of
Washington,
there
D.C.
in downtown
is
Boston.
now visible on this map, which was not visible before.
Hmm.
And the yellow line towards the bottom is Washington State. Next slide, please. So this just summarized all of the states we're tracking very closely at the county level. So we're tracing and tracking not only the epidemic at the state level, but understanding what's happening in
So we
county
have
by
multi-level
county with
data.
new cases,
Okay.
and of course also
Thank you, Dr.
the
Birx.
deaths.
All right. So basically, as we can see there, that's an outline that's basically just kind of showing where a lot of places are. A lot of places, very minimal cases. Seems like there's minimal spread. It would seem that often, and again, you'd have to look at every individual case, that largely depends on population density, where and when certain maybe non-essential quote-unquote businesses are closed as well. And this is the thing that we're seeing right now. Depending on the response time, I remember there seemed to be some conflicting information going around at the time. It seemed like New York kind of waited a while, especially the greater island area as well, did wait. If you're talking of upwards of about 28,000 people per square mile, and if we don't think it's as communicable as it was, this is one of the things, because I remember when I was interviewing Luto going on almost 2 months ago, back in February, she said that there was a young Filipina that she knew that was working in Hong Kong that happened to literally end up coming down with it because her boss came down with it, and he literally was just walking by her. just literally walking by her, likely very closely. So if it happens to be communicable by air, again, I am not a doctor or medical professional. If that is possible, just being in a very close proximity can transfer it. She ended up getting it, and that's the thing. The time period, you're talking about 2 weeks. So if you are an asymptomatic carrier, that's why if you're going out, if you're going to be in any type of area with folks, if you throw on a mask or something, or just a cloth covering, or zip the hoodie up or something like that, is the thing. It's like, okay, maybe it's not super going to help you if you get it, but guess what? If you happen to have it and you don't know, you're less likely to spread it. If more folks are doing that, like I went to the market the other day, looked like about half the folks were wearing masks. Okay, guess what? There's that much less of a chance. That's the thing. It's just statistics. You could always get it. That's the thing. If enough folks do it, it's kind of like that whole herd immunity. Again, I'm not a doctor or a scientist. If you get 90% of folks with vaccines, it's like, okay, for those that actually happen to have some form of underlying medical reason or whatnot, guess what? Most folks aren't going to have it, so you're probably not going to get it. So, again, I'm not a doctor, but just wanted to catch you all up on that. But, hey, thank you all for watching. Take care, peace out, and long live the elbow bump. Oh!